Hi everybody, happy Thursday and welcome to Facebook Live. We will be discussing the MTHFR gene mutation and how functional medicine plays a role in that treatment today. So we're going to get right to it. Let's break it down. Let's start with methylation. Methylation is the M in the MTHFR gene. And it's a metabolic process. Methylation is a metabolic process that occurs in your body billions of times a day. It detoxes the body, it removes chemicals that could potentially cause harm, and it does a lot of other things too. For instance, one of its main roles is to synthesize DNA and RNA. We know what DNA is, but just a reminder, RNA stands for ribonucleic acid. It's a nucleic acid that is present in all cells, and it principally acts as kind of that messenger to carry instructions from the DNA for controlling the synthesis of proteins. So it's a pretty big deal. So you have to have methylation for that process to happen in your body. And that's why I said methylation is God's built-in kind of protection against cancer, because of how much control methylation has and how much of an influence it has over DNA and RNA. So methylation does other things too. It protects your nerves. It helps you burn fat. It supports your liver. It constructs immune cells. It metabolizes hormones. So it helps make them and then regulates them throughout your body, throughout your whole system. It creates energy for your cells, and it creates neurotransmitters for your brain. That's huge. But moreover, methylation is responsible for turning some genes on or off. It's kind of like that key in the ignition that pretty much makes everything happen. Like, you can't drive the car unless the key's in the ignition. And that's what methylation is. Without optimal methylation, toxins just build up in the system, and it creates this systemic inflammation. And we know that systemic inflammation causes oxidative stress and all kinds of issues down the line. So people are starting to learn about MTHFR. So the M is the methylene, tetra is the T, hydro is the H, folate is the F, and reductase is the R. MTHFR is a genetic mutation. So it's something you don't really want, and you don't really want it to play a big role, because it means that it's messing up your methylation process. So when MTHF, that's like kind of the enzyme part that you want, and then R, the reductase, reduce, take away. When that's happening, it means that the enzyme is not present, and the F, the folate, is not going through some important processes it needs to go through in the body. It's reduced, the reductase. So hopefully that helps break down some of the nomenclature there. So many with this genetic mutation might notice kind of a culmination of symptoms, which we'll talk about, but they could present differently for different people. And this is because we are all made so uniquely. For instance, someone who has the MTHFR gene and a COMT gene, a COMT gene, may have a bit more difficulty with detoxification and methylation together, which can cause another whole host of problems. And there are other types of MTHFR that can show up, and the impacts of that can be mild for some people or severe depending on their other beneficial genes that they present with and lifestyle factors. So that's why, like, across the board, it's just so hard to say, like, yeah, that's where your symptoms are coming from, because it's never just one thing, right? It's always just this culmination of all these different processes in your body and how they're all interacting together. And that's what I think is so cool about using genetics with functional medicine, because you get to start to see how these things kind of interplay with one another. So some of the common symptoms associated with MTHFR gene mutation include fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, depression. Those are the huge ones. Cardiovascular issues. It's huge. It's huge. Research shows us that this gene mutation is associated with higher risk of heart disease, Alzheimer's, autoimmune diseases, autism, and any other serious disease state related to inflammation. If there's chronic inflammation, MTHFR could be one of the factors leading into that. So what can you do about it if you're struggling with MTHFR gene? It's genetic, right? We're going to talk about this. So I'm just answering some questions that I get commonly. If I have MTHFR, what supplements should I take? My answer is I can provide general information about some supplements that are commonly used to support methylation. For instance, methylfolate, because I know folate is B9, and I know that if you have MTHFR, you are not methylating folate, you're not able to use it in its active form, so you need a methylated version of folate, a methylated version of B9 for your body to actually use B9. And we know how important B vitamins are for so many processes in the body. So if you have a methylation problem, you can't just like grab a B vitamin off the shelf at like a big box store. Like, you need to take a methylated version of the B vitamin. That is like a must. I can safely say that that's not all that you need support in, because like I said, these all start to interplay on one another, and because B vitamins then cascade and affect so many other areas in your life and in your body, then you kind of have to support those areas as well. Most of the time you'll have some gut dysbiosis, some imbalanced gut flora, your microbiome's off, you're going to need to get that balanced out. So it's just important to note that any supplement regimen should be tailored to the individual based on their specific needs and their health status. So I recommend that you talk to me a little bit more in depth about starting any supplement recommendation, and I definitely recommend that you have functional lab testing so that you actually know that what you're doing is working. I don't really agree with taking supplements just for supplement's sake. Like, you're just like, it's like a shot in the dark. Like, I'm just going to take all this good stuff and hope something works. But a lot of times you're just flushing your money down the drain because you don't really know what your body needs. And that's what's so exciting about all the functional testing and the genetics. So, other question, what are specific dietary needs for someone with MTHFR? Again, it's not a one-size-fits-all diet. There are some general guidelines I'll give you. You definitely want to opt for whole, unprocessed foods. Eating a diet rich in whole, unprocessed foods can just help the body with essential nutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidant. Those are important for supporting methylation. You need to increase your folate-rich foods, leafy greens, vegetables, legumes. Those can all help support methylation. And it's important to note that some people with this gene mutation could have difficulty converting synthetic folic acid to its active form. So that's why you need that methylated B and the food source B in there. And then limit processed foods, refined carbohydrates, because they can contribute to inflammation, and that can interfere with methylation. And then limit the intake of dairy and gluten, because individuals with MTHFR mutation, they have difficulty digesting it. And that can, when you have difficulty breaking things down and then detoxing the things that you don't want, it can contribute to inflammation and digestive issues. So it may be helpful to limit or eliminate these foods completely from your diet and see if your symptoms improve. So how do you know if you have the MTHFR gene? So Nordic Laboratories offers a DNA health test that includes the analysis of the MTHFR gene and other genes related to methylation, detoxification, and other processes in your body. It's non-invasive, it's a blood spot, and it provides information on the individual's genetic variants and how they're impacting the health and well-being. Because like I said, some people could have the gene with a mild impact, and some people could have the gene with a severe impact. And it's so cool because it doesn't look at the MTHFR in isolation. It looks at it related to other genes that are also related to methylation, including the COMT gene that I mentioned, the COMT gene, and the CBS gene. And those just play a really important role in methylation. So when we get this test, it provides insight and personalization and allows us to take that in combination with some other testing to show what are specific needs that you need to be doing to support your methylation as much as possible. So I'll put a link to book a call with me if you are interested in talking more about this and talking more about functional medicine and functional testing and what that looks like for you. But feel free to do that. I'll make sure I put a link in the comments. So we talked about diet, supplements, how you know you have it, and the other thing is lifestyle. Lifestyle is so important for MTHFR. You have to follow that healthy diet that we talked about. You have to support your methylation process, supplementation, like I talked about. But the big thing, you have to manage your stress. Stress can interfere with methylation and contribute to a whole range of health issues. So you have to practice stress management techniques, meditation, prayer, deep breathing, any parasympathetic activity that downregulates your nervous system, journaling, counseling. I'm a huge proponent of counseling. Like, work through that deep trauma as much as you can, because we need to decrease all the stress, because stress is impacting the inflammation in your body if you have MTHFR is already just struggling in that area. You also need a regular exercise. It can help reduce inflammation and improve your cardiovascular health and your mental well-being, because like we said, like anxiety, depression are huge with MTHFR. Just like aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise most days of the week. I think that's a really good recommendation. Other things, because we said methylation has a little bit to do with detoxification. We need to avoid harmful toxins, avoid exposure to environmental toxins like pesticides or heavy metals and chemicals that could interfere with methylation and contribute to everything. So just as much as possible, use natural cleaning and personal care products. I definitely recommend Branch Basics if you're looking for an at-home natural care product to clean your house with. Avoid Roundup as much as possible. Make sure you're filtering your water, and that's just going to decrease the load. We could talk about detoxification all night, but so And just know there are lots of other resources out there. If you feel like this is you, I'm happy to talk with you. But I also just wanted to throw out some other resources. The book Dirty Genes by Dr. Ben Lynch is a popular resource that focuses on how understanding genetic variations can affect methylation, and he provides tips for optimizing methylation through nutrition and lifestyle and targeted supplementation. There's a website, MTHFR.net, that's a resource that can offer some guidance, and a website, Methylation and Clinical Nutrigenomics Research Institute, that provides a wealth of information if you really want to get into all the research stuff. That's super cool. So, like I said, if you're struggling with MTHFR gene mutation and any other related health issues, I just invite you to book a call with me. I really enjoy digging deep to the root cause issues and helping you through that. During this call, we can discuss specific concerns that you have and how functional medicine can help you. So to book your call, just simply click the link in the comments or send me a message, and I will look forward to speaking with you soon and helping you on your journey towards well-being. And thank you so much for tuning into this Facebook Live session. Don't forget to like this video, invite a friend to this private Facebook group, because that helps me educate you on your health and get the word out of natural, holistic ways that we can help ourselves as Christian moms in a stressful, worn out world. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great night.